Well, good evening and welcome to Jay's Studio. Happy 4th of July. If you celebrate it. If We certainly did here, so that was a good weekend. But anyway, I thought I would post up a quick weekend printing video, kind of like I did last weekend, and these will be of the Eryone printers. And also got some news for you that I'll be covering in some future videos. More about that in just a second. So here on the print bed of the ER20, the Eryone ER20 here, printing with Eryone Silk Green PLA. I'm printing a dice tray piece for a dice tower that I had printed for our D&D group, our RPG group, I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago. But the dice tray itself just wasn't stopping the dice. So I contacted the folks at Birchwood Vale, which was a campaign on my mini factory, and they have redesigned the dice tray according to kind of my specifications. So this is just about to finish. It's been maybe, it'll be another 45 minutes. It'll be about a 7.5 hour print. And it's just looking great with this silk green PLA. The dice tower itself is kind of modeled on a tree. Again, it's the name of the campaign was Birchwood Vale, so it's a forest-themed group of miniatures and models, and this would just be the tray for the dice tower itself. But look at that, the lip is going to be like 2 or 3 inches high for the dice cup as things come out of the dice tray, so that's going to work out really well. Just almost done, looking really sharp, really happy with that. So on to, and I think, I'm looking over here. I think most of the models that I have kind of sitting over here on the table I covered before in previous videos or pictures. So anyway, things working well. I've actually started, just as a note, booting up the speeds, even here on the ER20, just a little bit, and I'm getting good results with that. So trying to remember, I think 60 millimeters a second is a basic print speed now. Obviously outer walls are not anything like that. I think they're at 40 or 45. But other than that, I'm just kind of little by little boosting up the print speeds to see when printing quality kind of falls off. Right now, things are looking really good. I mean, I'm just really happy with the way this particular model's coming out. Also really happy at the lack of stringing. It's a very clean print. So on to the big news. Pardon the camera movement as I plop over to the other side of the studio here and take a look at the Thinker SE. But what's different about this? Here's a clue. Check out the LCD screen. If the thing that comes to your mind is that this doesn't really look like Marlin, you would be correct. My Thinker SE is no longer running Marlin. It's running Clipper firmware. Clipper by Kevin Connor, or O'Connor, I think is his last name. But Clipper firmware is a different way of running your printer. I'm going to have a dedicated video or 2 or 3 about what it took to actually set Clipper up on the Thinker SE and how things are working. I just kind of finished calibrating earlier today, and now I've got a longer print going on. Going to be difficult for you to see anything yet because it's going to be a planter, and it's kind of based on a fairy house in a tree. It'll be for my wife, but obviously it's got a long way to go. But what Clipper allows you to do, and I don't know, right now it's doing some smaller detail work, but once you get it calibrated, you can print quite a bit faster with Clipper. And why can you do that? Because you're not using the board. So I'm not using what's underneath this or in the back of this as anything other than a conduit. So the ATmega, the 2560 board, is really not processing the commands. It's processing commands, but it's not having to interpret them, is a better way to put it. So what's happening here is that there's another computer controlling this printer now, which is allowing me to print really accurately, even at 100 millimeters a second. For basic print speeds, obviously a little bit lower on things like outer walls and lower layers and things like that. But as far as being able to print quickly, this at great quality, Clipper just is an exceptional firmware for that purpose. So again, I will have another video about how this all comes together, but I thought I would at least give you a glimpse at what's actually controlling the printer, and that's this little unit right back here. It's a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus with a nice big fan on the top of it, active cooling, and a PETG printed case. But just to give you a little bit more of a close-up, that is what is running Clipper and processing all the G code, and it's able to do it at just a much finer and much more sharply controlled rate than our Arduino based boards on the Thinker SE. So that's the teaser. Clipper firmware running now on the Thinker SE, printing quicker, lots of fun, more details to come. Have a great rest of the 4th of July weekend, especially if you've got a holiday tomorrow on the 5th. Take care, happy 3D printing, and we'll see you next time.